Hello artists, how are you today? It's Stephanie Aune coming to you from the banks of the Trinity River here in Six Rivers National Forest near Willow Creek, California. And welcome to my studio. You gotta forgive me, my eyes, the allergies are going today. Oh gosh. Plus I got into some poison oak. We were playing fetch and I went in and got into the poison oak. Miserable. Miserable. Anyway, here's today's project. It's a modified cityscape. And what do I mean by modified? Well, if you remember from my second altered book, the extremely large and complex cityscape that I did. Well, I wanted to break it down and simplify it for you guys. Now, if you're interested in seeing that, I'll do the full walkthrough video link down in the comments. And so you can see how that cityscape came out, which was a very elaborate project. But this is a modified cityscape. It is simplified. And then next week, we're going to go to nature. Going from the city, which is San Francisco, which is where I moved from in January. I've got my little cable car, my painted ladies, my Transamerica Pyramid building back there. It is not meant to be an exact representation whatsoever, but it feels like the Embarcadero in San Francisco. One of my favorite places to be. And then next week we're going to the country. So you may be wondering how I did this. Well, remember last week we talked about paint and how it just wants to be your neighbor. And then the week before we talked about gesso. Hello, gesso. To protect and serve. And really, it truly does great and amazing things. And then this week we are talking about paper. And we are building mosaics by collaging papers. We are using up our scraps. We have all those bits of paper that we hoard, all right? I've got hordes of paper. So let's use those. Let's use those bits and pieces and make something really cool out of them. And that is what this week's project is all about. Yay. Thanks so much to all the new subscribers. I really do appreciate you hitting that subscribe button and your comments. I really do appreciate them. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So other than paper this week, I did use just a couple of other products. One of them was my Luminaire paint set, which I will put a link for the Luminaire set down into the comments, and also white gel pens, black gel pens, and some Stabilo. So all of those links will be in the comments, as well as the link for my second altered book so you can see the full cityscape. If you do actually get inspired to do this project, please jump on over to the Messy Hand Band of Artists and post a picture. I want to see what you guys are making. Truly, it is inspirational for me to see your ideas. I've decided to go ahead and use these first two pages that I had prepped with the ephemera, and then with the Mod Podge, remember? They had made a nice sturdy page, and I was like, what am I going to do with this layout right here? What am I going to do? Remember, this is the front cover with a couple of pages glued to it. This is 2 pages, maybe 3 pages glued together with ephemera on both sides. And this is 2 pages glued together with ephemera on top of it. The ephemera was put down with Mod Podge. I did put a quick coat of clear gesso over the top of this, just because of the fact that I want my paint to stick as well as possible with this process that I'm doing. And I was a little bit, I had to really think about what I wanted to do with this. But I've been working on these little mini canvases inspired by Cat, and loving how these little houses are turning out and using the paint behind them. So I thought I would show you a modified version of how we can do this. So with paint, we are going to create a city and a townscape. Yes, we are. So I've just kind of sketched out some shapes here. They would be reminiscent of skyscrapers or, something along that line. Trying to, think about a little bit more interesting shapes up top here. And I can actually go in with scrapbook papers and things like that too. Let's bring this up here. Okay. And I've just done a quick sketch with this. You'll see what's gonna happen. It's crazy. If you've seen my cityscape, you know that I've played with this type of shape in the past. I've built up layers like this. I'll put a link to the cityscape videos. Maybe I'll put a playlist in there, but you know, we'll go into more how to create a cityscape in a later chapter. But with this, I just thought it'd be kind of fun to play with now. So, okay. Can't believe I'm doing this. Bringing in my cutting board. Yes, you. Yes, you, monster. Oh, you are. You're a monster. What? Come here. Come here. Oh my gosh. Oh, what are you doing? Oz. Ozzy. Oh. What? What? Say hello. Yeah? What? What? We're not going outside. No, I've got to do work. He has been growing his legs. I don't know if I can show you because he's sitting so nicely. Come here, stand up. Stand up. Stand up. Oh, yes, show off how long your legs are getting. Oh my gosh. Oh. No bites. No bites. You know better. You know better. You're shedding. You're getting your fur everywhere. All right. Now that I have an interesting skyline, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my cutting board underneath and take my metal ruler. Now, you can use a wooden ruler as long as it has a metal edge. And that's just to get a straight, clean line. I put a new blade in my X-Acto knife. And if you look here, the great thing about this particular cutting board is since it has a grid on it, I can line it up here to here and make sure that I'm making a parallel cut. All right. Now, why do we want to make sure that we're making a parallel cut? Well, I prefer not to have things be too cattywampus in my world. If you like cattywampus, do it however you want to. I just prefer to be able to show you, you know, a way to make your artwork be as good as you possibly can. All right, so even though that one came down pretty low, this one does not have to come down that low, and in fact, we're not going to make it that low. Okay, so line that up there. Make sure, of course, it's stuck back all the way. And this is, you know, just a rough sketch. It doesn't have to be perfect. All right, then we're going to move over to this guy. Do a quick line up here once again, 1/4 inch to 1/4 inch. I don't even know where that goes down to. That's about right. I guess we could take that to there. Okay, so this is easy, guys. It does take a little bit to cut through your pieces of paper, you know, so just take your time with it. I think it took me, you know, 5-10 minutes to cut out this skyline. And then what I'm doing here now is carefully removing these pages out, or this top section. See? And then now we have a movable skyline. Woohoo! Okay, so now that we have kind of our napkin for our sunburst shape here, I am prepping some papers for underneath of it because this white will dry completely transparent. Well, anywhere that this piece of paper is see-through, where there is not paint, will also dry transparent. So you're gonna be able to see all of the cool stuff underneath, and that's what we're building on today. We are building upon transparencies. Now this deli sheet is actually quite thick with paint, so we're probably not gonna see through it as well, but that's why we're just gonna use pieces. I do want to use some of this gold underneath of here so that you can really get that luminosity, right? Building layers, creating interest, yes. Now, what are deli sheets? If you go back in my video playlist, you will see these being made. There is a couple videos on making deli sheets. I love it. It's one of my favorite things to do with a gel press, and I would absolutely recommend it. We will be doing some of that again in later projects. But you know, the thing about deli sheets is it is a wax paper, so the paint sits on top of it instead of soaking in. And that's how we can get these really, really cool pieces of paper to work with. Okay, let's get down to gluing. All right, so since this, well, maybe I'll do the sun shape this way. And if I do the sun that way, then it can look more like a sunset instead of midday sun, which I would prefer. Okay, so let's get out our 1-inch Princeton synthetic brush. Yes. We're gonna need more Mod Podge for sure. And this is kind of dried out here a little bit, so, oh, that's always kind of yucky to deal with. Hi, kid, what do you need? Hmm? What? I hear you. All right, I think I have the sky where I want it now. I did add a couple more little pieces of paper in there. And, you know, just layer it up. You know, you don't have to have deli sheets to do this. You could do this with, absolutely, with like magazine, paper, you know, whatever you have. You can do it with torn strips of paper, of any kind of paper. Don't limit yourself because you don't have deli sheets that you need to use deli sheets. Absolutely not. That is not what I am saying here. Use what you have. And have fun with it. That is what it is all about. Okay, but since I want to play with a couple of different types of papers, I am going to move on to scrapbook paper. And, ooh, that's like a perfect shape right off the bat, isn't it? Now, I have these pieces kind of already cut up into different shapes to use. And I've done a project similar to this in the past, which some of you may remember, the Cityscape, some of you won't. But if you do get a chance to check it out, it's pretty fun. So I am just taking some strips of paper here. And I'm just going to kind of start building them up. Now, these do have paint on them. I made those for one of the circus pages. So if you want to check that out, definitely go back into the files and see what you can find. A lot of really interesting projects back there. Now, I wasn't planning on doing these orange buildings, but I think they look pretty awesome. So what we're going to concentrate on or think about is how to create depth, again, even within just pieces of paper. Yep, we are always looking at creating interest. Now, can you just put down whatever colors randomly? Sure, it's your universe. Do whatever you want to with it. You do not have to do what I do, right? Right? So again, you can use just regular pieces of scrapbook paper. These are just dirty pieces of scrapbook paper. Technically, they're just dirty pieces of paper. Yay! Oh, look at that one. That's gorgeous. This was scrapbook paper that was sprayed with spray inks for the most part. So these are going to be water-soluble products, so they will kind of move on us. Ooh, fun stuff. Let me get some of these shapes cut down, and I'm actually going to start gluing them onto the page. So, again, you can use whatever paper you have available. Regular scrapbook paper works awesome with this. But since I have this painted stuff here, I'm going to use it. Now, scrapbook paper is a bit of a pain to get pasted down. Not gonna lie, it is not the easiest thing to work with. So you really just kind of got to push it and squish it and smush it. And it'll stick down eventually. You can also use your Fabri-Tac on it, or there's other products that you can use beyond just Mod Podge now. Don't mess up your sky. Oh yeah. I don't want to do that. So there you go. Trying to think about putting kind of the bluer pieces in the background there, and the warmer pieces to show it coming forward. And that's really all I'm going to concentrate on. I'm going to probably make a couple cuts on here for different rooftops also. Like this guy has an interesting rooftop. So I'm going to put bluer ones in back, and I'm going to put these warmer color ones coming forward. Okay, creating depth right off the bat. We'll come back. Okay, so as you can see, I've gotten a few pieces down here, and I am kind of mixing up the colors and the shapes and the sizes, and no real rules to this, guys, whatsoever. Just put down some cool paper. Let's see here. Let's do... do kind of a fun piece there. Yeah, let's do it. That's the ticket. Now, know too that these are going to buckle a little bit. Nothing wrong with that. Just gives us some more texture and interest, and you know, we're just gonna work with it. Yes, yes we are. Okay. Let's do something bright as possible in the front. Ooh. All right, guys. So of course you know me with details, right? If you don't, you guys should know I do get kind of stuck in, you know, trying to make it as fun and as cool as I possibly can. And since I just left the city of San Francisco, I decided to put in some little lamp posts and a cable car. Yes, I did. Or one of the trolley cars. They have these all over the city, and they are pretty cool. They're very art, well, not deco. I think they're from the 50s a lot, but San Francisco bought a lot of the trolley cars from around the nation. So you can still see the different places that these cars come from as they drive past you. So if I'm going to do San Francisco, I'm going to do it, all right? So I've got a cable car in there. I am tempted to put the Transamerica Pyramid in there. Actually, I could probably cut that into the pyramid shape. Maybe I'll do that right now. Yeah, I'm going to make that the pyramid. But I love my little lampposts, adding extra interest. Hi, kid. And let's go ahead and make this into the pyramid. Dun, dun, dun. There's a lot to cut through here, so hopefully I don't mess it up. What, kid? There it is. There we go. So, what I'll definitely do is put a nice highlight on that so that it stands out with our sunset. Put a nice metal edge on that, as I will on all of these. So, when I get to that part, that will be all finished up. So yes, that's my San Francisco skyline. Pretty fun, huh? And then we've got some old houses up front and such. So again, I have to let this dry, but this is probably, I just cut these shapes out, guys. I didn't have a template. I just kind of guessed at what, I didn't care if they were perfect or not. I think it's pretty easy to see that they are street lights. I made them bigger in the center because I'm wanting to still do a little bit of perspective with that. And put the brightest piece here in the center also. It's our focals, right? Okay, there we go. I'm going to stop right there for today. And I don't know if we'll get to finish this page tomorrow. Maybe we'll finish this page next week. Or later today. We'll see. We'll see what I can get through. All right, guys, we'll chat soon. Bye. Let's pull out this gold. Let's do that. All right, so this feels just a little bit too gold. So I'm just gonna see if I can pull up just a little bit of that. I'm not scrubbing hard because of, you know, there's Mod Podge underneath of there. So we don't want to pull the Mod Podge up. But I do want to kind of tone back that shimmer just a bit. Let's, let's bring in Stabilo, and then we'll do the line work afterwards. I think I let you get away with too much. I think you might be a little spoiled. I think you might. All right. As you guys know, I like to use my stumpy brush for this. A little bit of water. I want to have this be a controlled line. I don't want it a big smudgy smudge all over my artwork. My stumpy brush is a bristle brush that's been cut down. It gives us a really nice line. Turn your book as you need to. It does help. And if you want to have more of a smushy line, do whatever you want to do. I just like to have, I don't want to have this whole thing be one big gray mass of glick, you know? All right, so now that I have this part done, I want to just go in and do some extra line work and, you know, do something along these lines. Just add some really cool, expressive, fun stuff to it. So I'm going to use my Signo Uniball medium point 207 gel pen, and then I'm going to use my white Uniball Signo UM153 is what these are. It's a white gel pen. Now you kind of have to be careful of the white gel pen. They don't sit always the best, so the ink doesn't always stay the best. I've heard. All right. Try to keep a light touch with this. It's not really loving to go over that part where we just put the Stabilo on. The Stabilo is a little bit of, you know, kind of a greasier texture, so. Okay, let's try this again.